I've started recording.
Yeah, guys. So I just had a profound, thought-provoking thought experiment. Now imagine, guys, throughout the billions of humans that have lived in the combined civilizational history, and thousands of monarchies that have existed, in which tens of thousands of kings were present under their own jurisdictions, how many of them would have had a liking for being sexually attracted to castrated guys acting as women?
This is never not funny.
That's imagine there would have been at least 100 to 1,000 guys who would kings who would have liked a slave who was a male slave who was castrated acting as a female.
You're talking about the ancestors of Love and Light TV.
No, I mean I won't go that far.
You know who those guys are?
Now imagine like you probably thought that you are getting circumcised, but after a few hours you see you are missing a whole dick and two balls, and then then you realize you have been turned into a sissy for the
Bro,
king who is
stop.
going to take your ass. And on that note, let me share you a quick, excerpt of history. Well, back in the day, I can't remember the exact name of the Sultan, but he and another Hindu guy, had this or that friends with benefit kind of relationship, intimate kind of relationship. So, what happened was,
You're mic robed. You're
they
mic robed. Come on, man. Your mic just robed.
So what happened was they were both were basically switched, right? So it was like one guy would dominate one day and one guy would dominate the other day. They had role plays like they would emulate like the Muslim wedding, the Hindu wedding, all of that. The Muslim wedding, the Muslim honeymoon, the Hindu honeymoon, like Suhag and all of that shit. The first night of the wedding, they would emulate of every religion. And one day the guy, the
Had
bitch of
enough.
the Sultan, we had enough and just killed it. Probably because they ran out of the religions to emulate marriages off. So he probably thought, all right, we have no religions left.
And you told me that he couldn't become the king because he was of a lower caste.
Yes. So then he claimed the throne from Sultan, and the minister said that you can't become the king.
He went from
that was
claiming ass to claiming throne.
then it was another L moment for India, like casteism.
Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about this Neanderthal. Now, of course, you're probably surprised, but bro, why are you showing us these subreddits of Lisa Ann and Alison Tyler? Guys, the truth is, sometimes you have to play with shit and mud so other people don't have to.
Somebody has to clean the sewers, like.
Yeah, so read this one. Read this one, Waka.
A popular link in this out of context image from a study, commonly referred to as the Chicago study, about what men and women find attractive in potential partners. There are a series of graphs that show that how the two genders can offset various deficiencies with other attributes. This not at all cherry-picked table compares how much money a person would have to make in order to offset their height. You will see a lot of people proudly share this image showing that short men would have to make oodles of money to be considered as attractive as tall men, while ignoring that in the very same table it shows that men regard tall women as so unattractive that no amount of money would ever offset their attractiveness.
Am I the only one who sees the glaring issue with this one?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's right in front of your face. Because the dating pool for taller woman is just so short. Like, imagine you are a 5'8" woman. Now you are definitely not going below 5'8", and judging by the rule, the golden rule of at least 4 inch, you're going for a guy who is at the very least 6 feet. Now the 4 inch is not the golden rule; that's the minimum. The golden is somewhere like 8 inches. So let's imagine you are 5'8". Your ideal is 6'4". You want a guy who is 6'4". Now imagine, now just run the calculations. How many guys are in this world 6'4"? Then you have to put in other factors like race. Like, is he the same race as you? Does he make enough money? Uh, Like, does he have good frame? Like, face. The face is there also. So, so the dating pool is
Also, you
so
have to
strange.
consider another thing. While the data does talk about how much money does a taller woman has to make in order to be as attractive, the data actually doesn't talk about how important height is for a woman. Let's say women have to make impossible amounts of money to recover the loss of attractiveness that is caused by being, like, let's for the sake of argument believe that. Does it tell you how much attractiveness a woman loses by being over a certain height? It doesn't tell you. Let's say you have two questions in an examination and one carries like 5 points, 3 points, let's say at best, and the other carries 35, 40 points. The question that carries 3 points is essentially impossible, but the question that carries 40 points is extremely difficult.
The
That is
guy who
the
said this paper is a retard. The guy who said this paper is a retard.
huh?
The guy who said this marks distribution in our test is a retard.
Why?
Bro, 3 marks and 35 marks. How does it make sense?
Yeah, exactly. That's the analogy I'm using. That is the relative importance of height in men and women. So yes, while a 6 foot woman can essentially do nothing to gain that attractiveness advantage, the thing is, her being 6 feet tall is barely, in absolute terms, going to cause her any loss in terms of looks, like attraction to the opposite sex, attractiveness to the opposite sex rather. With men, height is something that is a lot more important. So if you are not
Yeah, but
attract
isn't that exactly what this guy argued? Like, taller women are seen as less attractive, so doesn't that hinder the sexual perceived value?
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm telling you that women being tall, you have to understand the analogy I told you, right? Let's say
Yeah.
it's impossible to score those 3 points, but you don't need to. 3 points isn't, it's not even a difference that is considered something huge. So you have to make impossible amounts of money to get 3 points, while men have to make $138,000, $175,000, $221,000, $269,000, and $317,000 to be equally attractive. They don't tell you what the difference between the overall looks of a 5 foot woman and a 6 foot woman is, and the difference in the overall looks of a 5 foot man and a 6 foot man is.
And just to add another element to this discussion, I would probably be still called Mother Chod for not scoring those 3 marks. You
Indeed,
there, sir?
indeed, that's something that your dad would do.
I think you kind of have better luck than you do. Like, your father just went to take milk.
It's mostly, and yeah, he points out that those taller women have less matches, and shorter men still have more matches. The thing is, sometimes you have to
Shorter man.
replicate. Sometimes you have to replicate the data. Sometimes you have to replicate the data. You have to look at like I told you. What men are those taller women going after? They are obviously not going after the men that are around their same height. The thing is, most men are actually okay with women who are taller than them percentile wise.
Nah, that's not most men. That's a sizable chunk of men, but definitely not most men.
Like, dude, listen. They did the same study where, like, it's the same study where they discovered that 8 inches is the ideal height difference, and men thought that 3 inches is the ideal height difference. The average height difference in a population is 5 inches. So 3 inches or less, they are percentile wise okay with dating men, percentile wise taller. Not talking about men who are simply okay with dating taller men.
Okay, wait a minute. Is it only me or is it you too who noticed a strange pattern in these height difference?
What?
So the perceived ideal height difference for guys is 3 inches, right?
Yeah.
And the average population is 5 inches.
Yeah,
and for women it's 8 inches.
yeah.
Don't you see it like the guys think that 3 inches is theirs is 3 inches dick, and on average dick is 5 inches, and women think that at least 8 inch minimum dick is required to satisfy them. This is
Why are you diverting it to cock talk?
this literally makes sense. Tell me, it does not make sense. Tell me, does it not? Like guys think that 3 inches would be okay to satisfy, but on population level, 5 inches the average cock size. But women say that they want at least 8 inches. Doesn't it make? Doesn't it go?
No, it doesn't.
It fucking does. How doesn't it?
It doesn't. Like, stick
Tell
to
me
the
what.
discussion.
Big section. Yeah, guys, I'm going sketch today.
Like, let's say you have two women. One is 5 feet tall, and another is 6 feet tall. They have
We have
everything
no
else. They have everything else the same, right? For the sake of argument, let's believe the absolute difference between a woman who is 5 feet tall with those same traits, those other traits, and a woman who is 6 feet tall with those other traits, it's like 5%. No way it's higher than that. Yes, to fix
I
that
don't.
5%,
But
no amount of money can fix that 5%, but do they need to? Is that a
uh,
sufficiently is that a sufficiently large difference in attractiveness that people need to spend money to fix that? That is the question. But the thing is, with a man who is like 5'11", 6 feet tall, and a man who is 5 feet tall, that is astronomically like different.
no, at 5 feet, guys, you should probably just look into transition. You should probably look into getting castrated and becoming a slave for a king.
Well, that era is over.
I mean, you could go for Diddy and Epstein, and there are options. Where there is will, there is way.
So let
I'm
me
back
show
into
you
my room.
guys. Let me show you guys two porn stars, and this is a good example. You would hardly ever find to a short man in women's smut, but there's multiple examples of women like Alison Tyler who are really tall in in essentially all kinds of porn directed at men. You can show examples of the kind of attention that tall women get when they walk down the street. You can show people videos of how many guys are literally fawning over Lady Dimitrescu. But there's another factor that people overlook, that when a woman does supersede you in one attribute, it's not that guys don't love it, it's not that guys wouldn't want it, but the truth is, the dynamic that comes with that is often an issue. One of the primary predators of dead bedrooms is a woman making more money than you.
Are you telling me that we live in awe of dumb bitches?
I mean, of course, it means, of course, if you are really good looking, then that's different, but I'm talking about averages.
You're talking about our viewers who are losers. The only channel on the internet, guys. The only channel.
So, this
I'm
is
back.
also another trend that whenever men have one shortcoming, and they succeed despite it, like in spite of it, these people are quick to shift the credit of that success to society. Oh, society accepts bald men, society accepts short men. That is why short men still have no fall from baseline matches. But tall women are so discriminated against that they don't get the equal number of matches. They
No,
would
the thing
never
is,
blame women for their own shortcomings, and they would always take the credit of a man's success, which
people
he
like
might
to
have
gaslight.
gotten overcoming all odds. Like, it's the credit of society.
People like to gaslight so much that I'll propose a solution. All right, let's make a collective decision that tall woman, no, short woman who are like 5'3", 5'2", 5'1" won't date a guy who is above 5'7" and leave all the tall men for tall women. that would make sure that all women are happy as well. Would they agree to this pact? No, because they are selfish. It's not necessarily that they are selfish. It's everybody wants the best partner that they can bag. So come on, stop pretending that you give a fuck, right? Let's stop pretending that you give a flying fuck and just admit that how things are. Some
And yes,
things
it
are
has
not
to be
changing.
considered that it's very likely that men, just like when you ask men about, do you want to be a provider? 70% of men are going to tell you that it's important that a man is a provider. But,
Nah, man, I just want to live off a cougar and just escape Max.
dude, just stop. Just stop, man. Stop. Why do you drop these uh, unredeemable sentences?
I mean, like I gotta do something to keep the podcast engaging, right? Like you do you do shit when it comes to editing. I'm gonna keep it engaging
Yeah,
with my speech.
I know. It's part of your job, but honestly, you should just keep Gunacharya with us. Um, he would be like the he would be like the third guy in the Chico and Sean Fry podcast.
You know, just sitting like a cuck on the cuck chair while two people, while two saints discuss.
So where were we? It's
We
it's the
were
same thing when you ask men, would you date women taller than you? They're not telling you that they won't date women taller than them because they hate taller women. They know more or less. I mean, everyone copes. No one really wants to admit. And one of my subscribers, Torrance, shout out to him. He pointed out that it's so fucked up and men are so brutalized for admitting to what they actually want. And look, ja, bhai, we have to interrupt.